Hello everyone, welcome back to WN Movie Talk. It's me, Trev, your host, and again I'm in front of my DVDs. But today we're not looking at DVDs, we're looking at specifically 3D Blu-rays. I am a massive 3D Blu-ray fan. Last Christmas 24, I got a 3D Blu-ray player. I already had the TV, but my Blu-ray player had broke years ago and I got a new one. And in this past year, I've gone from owning about 15 to 20 3D Blu-rays to owning nearly 100. I've just had a count up and I'm one away from 100. I've got 99 3D Blu-rays here. So I'm going to run through them all. And if you're 3D Blu-ray fans like me, then maybe you'll enjoy this video. Maybe you've got some of these you can comment on. Let me know. Let me know also why you like 3D, or if you don't like 3D, why you don't like 3D. Even though wearing glasses isn't an option. Because you'll probably wear sunglasses and not complain. Most people do in the summer. Never mind anyway, it's a debate, isn't it? And are we going to see 3D again? That's the question. Let me know your thoughts below. So before we get into it though, if you're new to this channel, then please do give us a like and subscribe. Not only do I run through my physical media collection, I also do film reviews, video essays, analysis, top 10s, all sorts. So check out the channel. You know, hopefully there's something there that you'll enjoy to have a look through. Your support really does help small channels like mine. But without further ado, should we just get on with this, because we've got 99 3D Blu-rays to go through. So first of all, these are sort of like children's films, Pixar, anything like that. So I'm going to start off with The Polar Express, starring Tom Hanks, Robert Zemeckis' Polar Express 3D Christmas film. I don't know, it's a bit of a strange film. This one, more than A Christmas Carol, has quite an uncanny feel to it, but some of the 3D is really impressive. Zemeckis really went to town with 3D. I think he was one of the great 3D filmmakers, and it's a shame that he's not done more, because I'd love to watch him, and I love to watch him at the cinema. I can only imagine how much of a spectacle, you know, what a ride this would have been at the cinema. Then we get on to my favourite all-time 3D film, Christmas Carol 3D. I've told you this before, I've seen this when it came out of the cinema, and it was my favourite cinematic experience ever. It was just a roller coaster ride from start to finish. It just felt amazing. Now I love 3D because it's immersive, because it gives depth, not so much because of things that jump out. But this does it all. This proves and shows you exactly how 3D can work. Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland next. Not my favourite Tim Burton film. Alice in Wonderland, not my favourite story either. It's a bit hideous. But the 3D is really good. I have watched it, and I didn't even go to the cinema to watch it. Yeah, it's not bad. It's alright. Megamind 3D. Will Ferrell playing the evil villain Megamind. Quite a good bit of fun. 3D's okay, quite impressive. And then we're getting into sort of Pixar's. I've got Monsters Inc. in 3D, and then Monsters University in 3D as well. They're all 3D, I don't know why I keep saying they're 3D. I quite enjoyed the Monsters Inc. It wasn't released initially in 3D, so this is one they've converted, and the 3D works really well, to be honest. And then Monsters University probably was out around the time of the 3D film, so it probably is a proper 3D. I think the animation looks really great. The figures almost look solid in 3D, which I enjoy. I've not watched this one yet. I bought this more for my daughter, Smurfs 3D. I own it, but I haven't watched it. Picked it up from a tip. This is one of my favourites. Went to the cinema to watch this when it came out. Don't think in 3D though. Me and my son went to watch this in the cinema. Snoopy and the Charlie Brown movie. In 3D it's great. As I say, I love it when the animated films, it looks like you're watching a solid little figure walking around, you know, and it's great fun. And didn't stray too far from how Peanuts is, you know. It wasn't, oh, let's, like the Smurfs, let's take characters you know and put them into a Alvin and the Chipmunks sort of situation where it's a story in the real world. This was just Charlie Brown in Charlie Brown's world, philosophical, depressed. I loved it. Disney's Tangled in 3D, another one I bought for my daughter. She's not bothered about watching it. I've not watched it yet, so I can't really comment on the 3D. But one Pixar film I did have to buy in 3D, it's my favourite Pixar film, and it's Toy Story 3. I love this movie. It should have been the end of the trilogy, but it wasn't. Toy Story 4 a lot better than it should have been. But out of all the Toy Story films, I've seen them all in 3D, but I only own this one because it's the one that I thought I've got to own that in 3D. I will get the others, but Toy Story 3, just amazing. Great film. And the 3D works really well. Wreck-It Ralph in 3D, another one, quite good fun. This one, Tim Burton's films work really well in 3D, the animation. Nightmare Before Christmas. So again, this wouldn't have been 3D, it's been converted, but works really, really well. And again, it's plasticine models, and they just look so realistic. It looks like you're watching 3D figures dancing around. It's great. Dr. Seuss, The Lorax, another one to watch with the kids. We will get round to it at some point. Danny DeVito, I think, plays the Lorax. I have watched this one. This was another conversion, The Lion King in 3D. And up until this, I'd never seen The Lion King. I sort of lost track of Disney films. I watched after about Beauty and the Beast, probably the last one I saw. I quite enjoy the Ice Age films, and Ice Age Dawn of the Dinosaurs is a good one in 3D. I have watched it in 3D many years ago, but just picked this one up quite cheap, couple of quid. I mean, all of these I've picked up for a couple of quid. When I first had 3D TV, 3D Blu-rays were like 20, 30 quid each. That's why I only had a handful of them. And now you can pick them up from tips and things. You know, I'm picking these up in amongst 4 for a quid and stuff like that, or buying them from CEX for 2 or 3 quid. How to Train Your Dragon in 3D. It's How to Train Your Dragon 2. I haven't seen the first one yet, so I haven't watched this, but I will try and locate the first one. Another Tim Burton. This was really, really good in 3D. Again, as I say, there's something about Tim Burton's animation anyway, but this was really effective. Frank and Weenie really works really well. Another one for the kids. I'm not that bothered about the Despicable Me films. They're all right. Minions are a bit irritating, aren't they? But the kids love them. And the 3D in this, I remember the trailer with the blowing out the kazoo thing. Everything was coming out, so I'd imagine there's a lot of spectacle in these. This is a really great film. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. The second one, not so much. I think, again, that might have been a conversion. I don't think that was 3D initially. Maybe it was, prove me wrong, but that's a really, really great film. This is definitely a 3D conversion, but it works really well. Also one of my favourite Pixar films, Cars. Great little story, just looks fantastic. And in 3D again, yeah, it works really well. Me and my daughter did watch this one at Christmas, After Christmas in 3D. And yeah, I quite enjoyed it. It's quite a nice little Christmassy film to watch, and the 3D worked really well. And then we got another Disney Pixar. I mean, my daughter's not into Disney princesses and things, but Brave, I picked that up anyway. Saw it in a bunch of DVDs, and yeah, thought why not get it. Not watched it. Any of these that I haven't seen, let me know if you think the 3D in them is excellent or could have been better. Let me know. Let me also know in the comments which are your favourite 3D films. It'd be really great to hear. Next section is superheroes. I've got the Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man films in 3D, 1 and 2. I'm really disappointed that they never finished this trilogy because I was quite enjoying it and I thought it was quite good how at the end Gwen Stacy leaves it on a cliffhanger, and I thought that's quite a dark place to leave it. And then they never made another one, but yeah, I enjoyed them and I thought the 3D was good. Some of it is really great, in fact. Spider-Man Homecoming in 3D, picked that up for like a couple of quid, so really glad to have got that. I will just say these I got the first time around when I first had a DVD player, when they first came out, so I got them. I think I asked for them for Christmas actually. Yeah, they were worth a few bob at the time. Suicide Squad 3D, not watched it yet. I've watched a lot of the DC films, but haven't watched this one here yet, so I don't know if that's any good. Jared Leto as the Joker. I know he gets a lot of flack. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in 3D, that was alright, quite good. I think if that had come out 20 years ago, or 30 years ago, oh my god, showing me age, but when we were kids, the 2 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle films that came out then, pretty naff really. And this is the one that we would have liked to have seen, or the second one, Out of the Shadows, I think, where they have Bebop and Rocksteady in it as well. I think when I watched that I thought, if only I was a 12-year-old kid, I'd absolutely love it. But I don't know if the 12-year-old kids these days are actually that bothered. Don't know if Turtles are such a big thing as they was. X-Men, Days of Future Past. I haven't seen this one in 3D. I did watch it when it first came out. I haven't got around to watching the 3D version yet, but I did quite enjoy that. and the Wolverine films. I've got a bit lost in what order the Wolverine films are, but I hear really, really good things about this one. So I am going to one day revisit the X-Men films and the Wolverine films and go through them all and then get and watch this in 3D. These are in no particular order, I'm afraid. They're just a bit muddled up. Wonder Woman 3D, I did start watching that in 3D. I never did finish it. I don't know why, there was no particular reason. I just ran out of time and never stopped watching it. The 3D's alright. Yeah, some bits are more impressive than others. Thor Ragnarok, it's probably my favourite of the Marvel films. Taika Waititi, really sort of tongue-in-cheek, quite enjoyed that. I haven't seen the newer one he's done yet, but haven't watched it in 3D. All these Marvel films and that I've got, I've seen them all with my son. We sat and watched all the Marvel films, but not since I've been buying them this last year in 3D. So I'm going to wait until I get them all in order and then go from the beginning. So Thor The Dark World in 3D as well. I mean, these are the sort of the golden age of Marvel. I've lost interest now. I am boycotting Marvel at the cinemas. Iron Man 3. Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2. I've seen Guardians of the Galaxy actually in 3D. That was one of the first Marvel films I watched. That and Ant-Man, actually, I watched them in 3D before I owned them and really enjoyed them. And that's sort of the films that made me think, oh, maybe these Marvel films are alright. I've not been a big comic hero fan, so I wasn't that bothered. But when I watched Ant-Man, I really enjoyed it, and I like the sort of the tongue-in-cheek humour, and Guardians of the Galaxy as well. Captain America, so the first Avenger, limited 3D edition, and Captain America Civil War. And then like all the Avengers ones here, I can't remember which order they're supposed to be in. I've got Avengers Assemble, Age of Ultron, Infinity War, and Avengers Endgame. So I'm going to sit through all those at some point. I have, though, watched these films in 3D as I was buying them, because I hadn't actually seen the DC movies, except for Man of Steel I saw, and I thought it was a bit disappointing, a bit long-winded. The end seemed to go on a lot, but the 3D is pretty cool. So since I've been buying them, I've got Batman vs Superman 3D, which I've watched, and the Justice League 3D. Now the 3D's good in it, but I always think these films, the action scenes don't look real. Not like the Avengers and that, they don't look so real. They always look like a computer game to me. Right, now we're getting into the main crux. Everything else, basically. These are in alphabetical order. First of all, A for Avatar. The 3D film that sort of encouraged people to go and watch 3D and buy 3D TVs the first time around. And, you know, it was a long time coming for the sequels, but I think they're still doing their thing. And yeah, I really enjoy them, and I enjoy that in 3D. And then Avatar Way of Water is one of my favourite 3D movies. I've watched it several times now, and yeah, the 3D in it is just impeccable. As I say, the underwater scenes, it just looks like you're looking into a fishbowl, and there's whales and little blue men swimming around in there. It looks so amazingly real. Steven Spielberg's The Adventures of Tintin. This was one of my original DVDs that I owned, as was Avatar. Avatar The Way of Water is actually one I paid 12 quid for, so it's probably one I've paid the most for this side of the 3D boom. The Adventures of Tintin was one that I got when 3D films first come out, so I paid a fair bit more for that as well. And this was also one that I bought the first time round, even though I think it was only like 4 or 5 quid. The Chronicles of Narnia, Voyage of the Dawn Treader. I really enjoyed that one in 3D. A shame again that they didn't finish them. This one I got sent by a listener to the podcast, and a viewer to the channel. Nathan sent me that, Dread. I really enjoyed that, a lot more than I thought I was going to. I thought it was really great. The 3D was really, really effective. I did an episode all about it. You'll have to check it out on the podcast. I watched 4 3D films all at once and sort of compared them and sort of analysed them all. And this was the other one, Live, Die, Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow. Really good film. Not a massive Tom Cruise fan, but I really did enjoy that. The 3D was great, the story was good. Yeah, really worth watching and worth owning, that one in 3D. Now, I watched this online in 3D years ago. I downloaded it, but now I own it. Exodus, Gods and Kings. It's a Ridley Scott film, all about Moses. and quite an epic film. And yeah, the 3D I remember being quite good in places. Everest in 3D, the true story of the Everest disaster, really good film. I haven't watched the 3D version because I only just watched it and reviewed it for the podcast, so I haven't sat down and watched it again in the 3D version. But what I have watched in the 3D version, another film I've reviewed for the podcast, I ranked all these movies, was Ghostbusters Answer the Call, the Paul Feig all-female Ghostbusters film. I don't mind this, it's quite funny, but it's probably too funny. It's like there's too much joke. They miss the subtlety of the Ghostbusters. But what's the 3D like, I hear you asking? Yeah, the 3D's good in places. What is strange is that they have like the widescreen bars, and the 3D comes out above, in front of that as well. So when they're shooting like proton packs, it comes out and covers the bars, and I thought it's a bit gimmicky. And you think, well, if they're taking up that part of the screen, then why are the bars there anyway? Couldn't they just fill the screen with 3D instead? This was another one that I'd done in the 4 films that I reviewed, Gravity 3D. The 3D in this is spectacular. It's quite a good sort of premise, a bit cheesy in places, but yeah, spectacular 3D, some really good imagery on that. Godzilla 3D, I watched this recently and it was a lot better than I remembered when I first watched it years ago, but I couldn't really remember half of this film. And then when I watched it, yeah, it's just epic, and some of the 3D's just fantastic. There's 3 films here in one box set: 47 Ronin, R.I.P.D. and The Immortals. Haven't watched any of them, if I'm honest. You'll have to let me know if they're any good. They look a bit sort of cheesy, but perhaps they're really good. You tell me. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them in 3D. I haven't watched this one yet. I found this quite a dull film. I think this was the best of the lot. The second one put me off, and I haven't even watched the third, I'm afraid. And I love the Harry Potter films, but I haven't watched this in 3D yet. A film that did really work well in 3D was The Great Gatsby. There's just some great imagery. Baz Luhrmann's The Great Gatsby. Not the kind of film you'd think, oh, that should be 3D, but it is, and it works really well. It's quite an iconic look, isn't it, to Baz Luhrmann's films, and yeah, some of the camera movements and things really suit the 3D very well. Now this is one of my favourites as well, Hugo in 3D. Martin Scorsese is a massive 3D fan. He collects 3D films from the 50s and 60s, so he really wanted to make a 3D movie. You might think he's a strange choice for 3D, but this film is everything that a 3D movie should be, and it's just perfect. The imagery, setting it in a train station, so there's lots of sort of forced perspective. Even when they're going back and visiting all the old films of Georges Méliès and they make them look 3D, it really works well on so many levels. This, I really enjoyed that film. Big Lord of the Rings fans, and have recently been watching the Hobbit films again. The 3D is really good in this. They were made specifically for 3D. So we got the Unexpected Journey, Decimation of Smaug, and Battle of the Five Armies. These all originals from my first sort of time collecting. But I've got a new appreciation for these films, and I'm going to do a video all about them soon. But yeah, the 3D in these are really great. And then Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2 in 3D. They were really good as well. Especially the scenes with the dragon at the beginning where they go to Gringotts and the dragon escapes. And any scenes with water, I think water really works well in 3D. But yeah, they were great, and I'd love to see the other Harry Potters in 3D. You know, now they convert films, I wish they'd just convert more and more. And then the Hunger Games 3D, if you watch my video of my last haul, this is quite a new one I've just picked up, so I haven't had chance to watch this yet. Jack and the Giant Slayer 3D, again, just picked this up recently, haven't watched it yet, so let me know if it's any good. I thought it might be just a bit of fun. Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom, is that the second one? I didn't mind the second one, and I thought it was leaving it in a good place to see the third. And the third, they just ruined it. But I did quite enjoy Jurassic World, and here I've got Jurassic Park 3D and Jurassic World. Jurassic Park, obviously a conversion, and it is amazing. It's you would think that it was just planned to be 3D all along. It just looked really good. The 3D works really well. I've got Jaws 3 3D. Not Jaws 3D, because they do have a 3D version of Jaws that they show at the cinemas, the 1975 Spielberg version. I'd love to watch that in 3D. When are they going to release it in 3D Blu-ray? But at the moment we're going to have to just put up with Jaws 3D. I did an audio commentary on the 3D of this film. Not that impressive. The 3D conversion, it's not conversion, but it's one of the worst 3D movies through my telly that I've ever watched. It sort of really strained my eyes. It wasn't as poppy as it should have been, and there was something strange about how it formed. It was like really, hurt my eyes. Journey to the Mysterious Island 3D. I haven't watched that film yet either, but yeah, a nice good fun one I can watch with the kids if they ever want to watch 3D film, which they tend not to. I seem to be on my own in this house, 3D. But what this Life of Pi 3D, really good. One of my favourites as well. The 3D is stunning, the colours is vivid, the story, just really beautiful story. Dark in places, a lot darker than I thought it was going to be. But yeah, really just phenomenal 3D. Another Tim Burton, Miss Peregrine's Home for the Peculiar Children, which is good. 3D is really good in this. Recognised one of the girls in there is the girl out of Fallout. Mortal Engines 3D from Peter Jackson. I've not watched this yet, so I haven't even got an idea of what this film is about, but let me know if the 3D is any good. This was one that I did in the 3D podcast where I watched 4 sci-fi 3D films. This is the 4th movie, The Martian, really good in 3D. Space works really well, doesn't it, in 3D. Men in Black 3, I really enjoyed that one as well. There's some good 3D in there. And then this one is awesome in 3D, Mad Max Fury Road. Again, some amazing stunts, cinematography, but yeah, in 3D it just pops. This film, it just is one of those standouts. It's alright, bit of fun. Oz, the Great and the Powerful. Not the best Oz film, not the worst, but yeah, the 3D, I quite enjoyed that as well in places. It works well. Doesn't it start off 2D and then go 3D when he lands in Oz? Similar to what they did with the black and white and colour in the original film. Guillermo del Toro's Pacific Rim was absolutely great in 3D. Really enjoyed that. Big monsters fighting, big robots. Looked really great, really enjoyable. Ready Player One 3D, I enjoyed that. One of my favourites of Spielberg's modern films. With the kids, we've watched this lots of times, and in 3D, yeah, it works really well. I've also watched it in 3D on my VR before. When me and my brother done the podcast of this, I've downloaded it in 3D, put it onto my VR headset, watched it in the cinema in big screen. And yeah, but it is great in 3D, good one. A couple here that I've not watched, Spy Kids in 3D. I've got these, my daughter loves this sort of thing. She's not watched it yet, so I don't know what it's like. And then one for my wife, she's not interested, but she loves Street Dance. And look, there's Street Dance 3D, Donna, watch it please. No, not interested. Then we're getting into Star Wars ones then. The Force Awakens in 3D, recently rewatched that. These 3D in these films are impeccable. The Last Jedi in 3D, and watched that again. And enjoyed it a lot more than I did when it first came out. I was a bit, oh God, what are they doing to Star Wars? They ruined it. It is a bit of the film that sort of broke the fan base, But when it's good, it is really good, especially in 3D. But when it's bad, there's some really shit scenes in it, really awful stuff. I haven't got The Rise of Skywalker yet, because for some reason, when you see the worst film of a trilogy or of a series, always seems to be the most expensive, and I don't want to pay over £10 for a film that I really didn't enjoy. I want to own it, but I'm not paying £15 for The Rise of Skywalker. Solo, the 3D again is good. The story not so much, it's just ticking boxes. What do we know Han Solo's done? It's basically all the things we know Han Solo does in the movies, and there's nothing new there. I thought it was dull. But this is one of my favourite Star Wars films, and the 3D in this is great. And bring back Gareth Edwards, let him have a trilogy, because I thought this was an impeccable film, really good. The war scenes at the end, it's like watching a Nam film in space with stormtroopers in 3D. Really worked well. A bit of a gore fest, Shark Night 3D. I haven't watched this one yet. I've got lots of shark movies to watch and review, which I'm going to do at some point. I'm going to do a series of them, or a video all about them. Yeah, looking forward to watching Shark Night 3D. I won't get my hopes up though. The Three Musketeers in 3D. I was quite enjoying this when I first started watching it. And then James Corden come on it, and I had to stop it, and I've never put it back on since. I will get back to it because I'm hoping he's not like one of the main characters and he's just in it for a bit. But I just can't stomach James Corden, and he went through a phase of being in absolutely everything. Titanic in 3D really works really well in 3D, to be fair. A lot of the effects now aren't as impressive as they once was. You can tell you're looking at a digital sort of imagery, but I'm sort of a bit obsessed with Titanic and had to own this one. And yeah, the 3D does work well. As I say, water in 3D, there's something about it. But yeah, this movie, great James Cameron film. Tron Legacy in 3D, this was one I owned originally, the first time round as well. Big Tron fan. Yeah, really enjoyed this one in 3D when it came out, and some really impressive 3D scenes. Terminator 2 in 3D, so another conversion that works really, really well. Absolutely blown away by the 3D in this movie. I thought it was really impressive, especially the opening credits with the robot head. Just, you know, they got it right straight away. Terminator Genesis in 3D, not the best Terminator movie. 3D was alright. This was one from my most recent haul, so I haven't watched this either. 300 in 3D, but I'm sure if any sort of film is designed for 3D, it's this kind of thing. This and Sin City, I think, would work really well in 3D, so I'm looking forward to watching that. Underworld Awakening in 3D. I haven't seen any of the Underworld films yet. I've got the lot, I've picked them all up, and I will at some point get through and watch them, so I can't comment on that. As I can't comment on Warcraft the Beginning either. I haven't watched this yet, so I don't know what the 3D is like. And then the last film, number 99, is a film that I have watched in 3D when it first came out. Wrath of the Titans. Absolute crap, if I'm honest. So that's my 3D collection, and I'm going to try and get as many as I can for as cheap as I can. So let me know if you've seen any of these, if you're a fan of 3D, anything like that. It'd be great to hear from you. So that was another look through my collection of Blu-rays, specifically 3D. Thanks ever so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you all again soon for some more DVD rundowns.